Love and health form the foundation and pillars that support all that you do to create fulfillment and success in every aspect of your life. Love within us guides our paths while our health enables us to drive forward. The two are inseparable and vital for growth and reaching your fullest potential. Welcome to Love and Health in America with Dr. Doohi Lee and Jens Johnson. Dr. Lee is an international speaker, author, inventor of the Diamond Matrix, and medical director of Advanced Surgical Arts.
The way I see my role is that I'm a guide.
Jens Johnson, the mindset master, is a best-selling author, speaker, and executive managing director of Dallas E-Women Network. Please join them and explore all the facets of love and health to achieve and live your abundant life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Doohi Lee and Jens Johnson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Love and Health in America. And I'm telling you, Dr. Lee, I am so excited about our topic today.
Yes.
Because it's a topic that, in my opinion, we should have been talking about and discussing in a very deep manner throughout this whole COVID experience.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it's something that we should talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
it's something that, I mean, I'm telling you, if you're a Joe Rogan fan, I mean, I know I am. Do you watch Joe Rogan?
Once in a while, yes.
Okay, well, one of the things that he's been screaming, and I've been screaming, and you've been screaming, and that is that we need to talk about how boosting our immune system is going to help prevent not only COVID, but it's going to help prevent the flu, other common colds, cancer, diabetes, all of these other diseases that I'm not saying COVID's not important. You're not saying that COVID's not important, but it's for us to be a healthy person, we've got to look at what's at the foundation of our health.
That's what we're going to talk about today. You're exactly right. All the points you brought up in terms of the immunity as the foundation of everything that we have, whether it's coronavirus or not, all the other illnesses. And, before COVID actually became what it is, every year we go through this cycle of flu shots and everything, right? And every year we talk about, well, let's get a flu shot and vaccinations. And that's sort of been the mindset. And unfortunately, I think that has kind of sidetracked a lot of people's minds about what happens in between those kind of flu shots, what happens in between the other types of vaccinations or other preventive measures. Because are they the be-all and end-all of protecting ourselves, or do we need to do much more? And that sort of is the basis of the talk today about how we can optimize our own immunity so we don't have to necessarily rely on all these shots and vaccinations to stay healthy and keep going.
Do you know that I have never had the flu shot?
I had to.
I have never had the flu shot.
Yeah, I had to. During residency, I had to.
Well, one of the things you just said before we get into our presentation is, you talked about it being the end-all, be-all.
Right.
And I think sometimes when we do these shots and we do these vaccinations and we do these things, we want it to be a quick fix and then we're not going to get the flu, we're not going to get sick, but it's just not that simple.
It's not that simple. And since we're talking about vaccinations, and I'm going to touch up on this briefly, what's interesting about flu shots is that the scientists who kind of developed these shots and flu strains for prevention, they kind of pick several from what they project to be the flu that's coming up. And usually there are about 200 different flu strains that are out there that could potentially get us in the coming season. So they kind of play a little bit of a, gambling. So what's interesting is that when you get the flu shots, by the time you get it, you do get some immunity, but often by the time the season arrives, the virus has mutated or things have, or you didn't get the vaccination for the correct one. So it's not always 100% assuredness that getting the flu shot is going to stop you from getting the flu. And so there are a lot of other issues associated with that. And we're going to touch up on this a little bit, I think probably next episode. There's too much to talk about, but how the idea of vaccination is going to be affecting the idea of vaccination for the coronavirus, because that's really the hot topic there right now.
Right, because, I know that when we were talking about just what is the foundation of the immune system, and we really talk a lot about your diet and your lifestyle and really your emotional state, and well-being. So it's, it's not just one thing. And the vaccination, and I know I'm telling you, I don't take the flu shot, and I'm not going to take any other vaccinations as well. But that's really, like you said, there's so much that we're going to cover today. We're going to really kind of touch lightly on them. but then we're going to go deeper because all of this goes into your diamond matrix.
Exactly. That's a lot of these ideas that actually came that, and that's part of the formation of that. So what I'm hoping to do is, give some information today, and then also, give some hints to the audience out there about how they could use this information to help themselves, whether it's diet, lifestyle, and other things we just talked about. And that sort of is the whole point of this. A little teaching, maybe a little coaching.
Right.
And hopefully some optimism along the way, and that things are really positive out there if you do the right things.
And can we say up at the very beginning of this, Dr. Lee, that you have to work on all three of these areas?
Yes.
You can't just pick one.
No.
Okay, you just can't pick your favorite one. You have to work on all
they
of
all
them.
work in conjunction.
Right, it's a comprehensive approach. So I think we need to just jump into the
I think so. Let's start
presentation.
the slides, and we'll kind of get started here. So the talk today and presentation, and as we talked about, is idea of how do you optimize your immunity. And I'm going to be referring a little bit from the diamond matrix because we're going to talk about multiple factors that are interrelated and integrated into optimizing your immunity. So let's go to the next one. So the immune system really is our foundation of staying healthy. I mean, without a good immune system, nobody can stay healthy. It doesn't matter what you do, what you take. So you really need to figure out a way to optimize that system. And so really it's a combination of lifestyle, different nutrition and emotional health, and all the different balances that we talked about before in the diamond matrix. But it's also, you can also enhance it from external techniques using regenerative medicine, including stem cells is one aspect. There are different types of regenerative medicine, and I'm going to touch up on that briefly during the talk. But what's interesting is it's really hard to optimize because people think immunity is just the one thing, but actually it's actually a system that's within us that are made up of many different parts, and many different parts influence that, and the immune system actually influences the other parts in return.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
And my question is, if you have a strong immune system and you're around somebody that may have an illness or coronavirus or whatever it may be, if your immune system is strong, will you not get that illness because your immune system is strong enough to fight it off?
Well, I mean, you can't say 100% you will not get it because it depends on the severity of the infection and whatnot. I mean, people still get sick even if you have a good immune system because there's some disease process so strong it can overwhelm what you have.
Right.
But the fact that you have a strong immune system and optimized will really increase the chance of you preventing that. But you can still get it, but the chance of getting it is much, much lower with strong immune system. That's the whole reason for spending time and effort to optimize it as much as possible. You just want to, put the stack towards you.
Right.
Optimize the chance towards you to stay healthy rather than being susceptible to illnesses. So let's go to the next slide. So next one. So this is the diamond matrix. For those of you who were here in the couple talks before, I presented a sort of detailed analysis of what the diamond matrix is. So it's made up of 7 different components, and we're going to talk basically about 3 different parts today. The nutrition, which is N, and lifestyle, which is L, and emotional and spiritual health, which is E. And you can kind of see by the lines that they're kind of tied together and integrated, and we're not going to really kind of bypass the other parts for today's talk. Let's go to the next one. Diamond matrix. So what can you do? You can go to the next one, so kind of point to the end. So what can you do to optimize your immunity? So first thing, as Jen's mentioned earlier, is really basic stuff, which is nutrition. I mean, we all eat every day because we have to. But question is, what do you eat and how do you eat and what is the combination of the foods you're putting in? Because that it really is the ultimate determining factor of what the chemicals we're putting in as food, what they do to our bodies. So obviously we want to have healthy foods, and that alone is a huge topic. What makes a healthy food? We talk about gluten sensitivity. Some people talk about sugar. Talk about some people have different food allergies. So I mean, it's hard. Obviously, I don't have time to cover what that means, but everybody has different preference and different reaction to different types of foods. So you have to kind of find an individualized approach in terms of, okay, this food is good for me, this food is not good for me, and be selective in how you kind of optimize and select your diet. And other things like vitamins, and supplements and micronutrients. So vitamins, we all know, you can buy a big jug of vitamins, or you can have different companies that make optimized vitamins. They have organic vitamins, so many different vitamins. But it actually is worth spending some time researching the company that makes the vitamins. Make sure you actually spend some money and get the high quality, because a lot of people take vitamin pills, but often these vitamin pills are like rocks. They don't even dissolve in your system.
Right.
And you think you're doing yourself good. At the same time, they're actually literally being just eliminated. So vitamin pills are important, but make sure you spend some time in research getting the good ones.
Okay, so all of this makes me think
Yes.
of a quote that says what you put in your body will heal you or kill you.
Yes, exactly.
And food really is, food can kill you.
Yes, yeah.
Food can make you sick, but it also, if you eat healthy foods, it
Right.
can heal you.
Yeah.
So my question with regards to the vitamins is, listen, I have friends that are nutritionists,
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
dietitians, and everybody says in our diet, in the U.S. diet, we just don't get everything that we need.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately we don't.
So are you a proponent? Because I know personally I take vitamins every day.
Yeah.
And I am just like you, that I do my research, I do my due diligence. I understand that my health is vitally important
Sure.
to my happiness, to my success, to the
Yeah.
quality of my life.
Everything we do.
So are you a proponent of, if you want to be healthy and you want to have a great, strong immune system, are you a proponent of vitamins?
Oh,
and
definitely. Yeah.
supplements?
Just as a general statement, of course,
okay.
I am. Because, I think the basic fact is our soil has been so depleted. We're really missing a lot of the nutrients. And that's what the whole point of the micronutrients I'm going to talk to you a little bit. But, the basic minerals and other nutrients that our bodies need are kind of depleted in our soil from over-farming and the chemicals we use and all those kind of things. And also there's a lot of genetic modification of food and all those kind of things. And those are really much larger topics. But we are literally bombarded by often, a lot of natural foods, but also manufactured, kind of modified foods as well. And those kind of things actually wreak havoc in our system because our biology is not necessarily tuned to digest some of that food.
I mean, who's been messing
even
all
if you
this
eat-
up, Dr. Lee?
I know.
Who's been messing all this up for us?
Well, a lot of different companies, and who knows? Different companies that have their profit motive and whatnot. So anyway, that's the reason I think that you need to get vitamins to supplement that. But you cannot just take vitamins and think I'm going to stay healthy.
Right.
You have to have food.
Yes.
And even with what I just said, if you actually pick very high quality, organic, wholesome type foods, you actually can get a tremendous amount of nutrients you need. And there's a whole philosophy of medicine called using food as medicine.
Right.
And I really, part of my regenerative medicine training really subscribes to that. But there's still holes. You cannot possibly eat everything. So that's where the vitamins, and I think the next line in that slide is talking about supplements, which goes a little bit beyond just vitamins, but other things that have different minerals and content. So there's, judicially combining vitamins and supplements are really important. The micronutrients are very, very important because most of us are really depleted. Things like copper, selenium, magnesium, calcium. Because of the poor quality of the soil, we just don't get enough of that. So picking a high quality micronutrient supplement, sometimes some vitamins will come with them. So you have to kind of read the label and make sure you get enough. Often a lot of these companies will, advertise, they have this, they have that. But you have to really look at the label and look at the ingredients and make sure you get enough of those, not some couple of micrograms of something that they claim that they have. So that's some of the research part you need to do. But again, nutrition and proper diet is the foundational starting point of optimizing your immunity. Let's go to the next one. And then, as I talked about in my Diamond Matrix lecture talk, that eating good nutrition is great, but that's not enough. Because if you sit around and, I ate healthy, but now I'm going to veg out for 8 hours on a couch and watching whatever you want to watch, that's just not going to do you any good.
I think I know some people like that.
Oh, really? Well, I'm guilty of it once in a while.
I'm not looking at you, Dr. Lee.
I'm
not
guilty of
looking
it.
at you.
I
I'm looking
admit
at
it.
Chris.
I admit it.
I'm looking at Chris.
I admit
I'm
it.
not talking about
Yeah.
anyone that I know
Yeah.
personally.
But we all need to rest and all those kind of things. But I'm talking about a habitual inactivity is just not good because our bodies are made to move, and so incorporating healthy lifestyle is critical. Obviously exercise, and of course you can talk hours about what kind of exercise, aerobic, anaerobic, weights, Pilates, yoga, or what do you do? It really doesn't matter. What it really matters is that the fact that you get up and move around, stress your body a little bit judiciously without injuring yourself. If you like lifting weights, by all means go ahead and lift weights. If you like doing aerobics or yoga, do that. Do the stuff that you like to do. And that's really the key, is finding the activities that you like and you enjoy, so you keep at it. But if you force yourself to say, oh, I read this is good for me. I'm not a runner. I hate running. I do run once in a while.
Running.
See, but I just, I'm a pretty good runner, but it's not my favorite thing to do. So I'd rather find something else, like lifting weights or doing calisthenics to get my aerobics in, rather than running. So.
Well, I think what you said is so important, is you have to find what you enjoy doing.
Exactly. Otherwise, you won't do it.
What you love doing. And let me tell you, for my whole life, I'm a fitness fanatic.
Sure.
I love it. I've been that way my whole life. My dad was a professional tennis player. He took us to the tennis courts. We play tennis, we run,
tennis.
we do all that stuff. Okay, Dr. Lee, I'm going to be playing.
Okay,
I'm going to be playing.
All right, okay.
I'm not saying I'm going to beat you, but when I was in college, and then even after college, I used to teach fitness classes.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I had one of my dear friends come into one of my fitness classes one time, and she just moaned and groaned the whole time. She's like, "This is horrible." I mean, just like that loud. And I laughed so hard. And I said, find something that you
like.
love.
Exactly. You don't like this, you just get out of the
Don't
class.
do it. Right.
I know, yeah.
Do something. But
makes
if
it hard
you
for
love
everybody else.
it and you enjoy it, then you're going to continue to do it.
Yes.
And you know what's so crazy, and this blows my mind, but there are people out there, and I hope it's not you, but there are people out there that they're not doing anything that they love.
Yeah.
They are getting up and they are grinding out.
Starting from their jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, find something that you love doing, and you'll keep going.
Exactly. So anyway, let's go back to the slide. So how does it boost immunity? So does lifestyle and exercise boost immunity by itself? No, not really. But it actually makes you healthier and more fit. So if your body itself mechanically is healthier, then of course it can indirectly interact with the internal, biology and the physiology of how things happen. So it does. So that's how it contributes. I mean, it increases circulation, so your blood can flow faster and better. And then, also releases certain hormones. I mean, when you exercise to a certain level, you get release of growth hormone, testosterone, and other hormones, which actually help you, quote unquote, reverse aging. One of the things that we need as we get older is growth hormone and testosterone and estrogen as well, but certainly growth hormone. And that really is sort of the biological key hormone that helps you stay younger. So when you exercise regularly, growth hormone increases in circulation as well. And the other part, and we're going to touch up on this as the next part, is, exercising makes you feel good, improves your mental clarity, because there's better circulation. Your brain is saying, oh God, okay, I got some fresh glucose coming in. I feel more awake. And then the exercise also increases endorphin release. So afterwards, even though you're pooped out and tired, you get the little pop of dopamine and other endorphins, makes you feel great.
Right.
So that's the reward of the stress that you put your body through. So that's the benefit of getting into a healthy lifestyle and exercise regimen.
And exercise is so great for the brain.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so great. And that's one of the things I love about your Diamond Matrix, is because you really focus on the importance of brain health.
Exactly.
And that's something that you do even in your practice,
Sure.
of course.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I do is functional brain scanning to help look at the different regional blood flow deficiencies that may be tied to, like, attention deficit disorders and traumatic brain injury and things like that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important. Listen, taking care of yourself is a full-time job.
It is. So anyway, speaking of brains, let's go to the next one. So there it is, stress and emotional health, kind of indirectly tied to the brain, right? So that's the E in the Diamond Matrix. So this is something that we've been, dealing with quite a bit, maybe a lot more in the background. And we're all under a lot of stress. I mean, whether it becomes quote unquote medical level stress or not, because of what's going on with coronavirus and around the world, and jobs and all those kind of things, people are sort of locked into families. I mean, apart from that, there's just a lot of people have different emotional issues. And when you have this kind of a lockdown or closure or loss of jobs and different things happen, the stress level goes up way, way high. And unfortunately, just from a physiological point of view, when you're under that kind of constant chronic stress, your cortisol level goes up. And this is the important hormone and chemical to help you with fight and flight reflex. In case of a danger, you need a cortisol to help you move faster and run away. But if it's in chronic state, it actually does tremendous damage, to your system physically as well as emotionally. But what I want to talk to you about now is the emotional effect of the coronavirus and what we're going through, and a little bit of really the dark side of coronavirus that really the media is not covering, that people are not really hearing about it. And you and I personally know people who've gone through so much stress and very bad things happen.
Right. Well, one of the things that's so important, I believe, is that we always have the conversation of the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
Because so many times people are not talking about the bad and the ugly. We know that abuse is up, child abuse,
it's huge.
spousal abuse, suicide. People are living in anxiety and fear. And what I just don't understand is why any leaders would want to put a person, a community, a country in the state of fear. Because like you said, the three main components that we've been discussing that are really the foundation of your immune system, it is the nutrition, it's the lifestyle, and it's that emotional health. And one of my nicknames is the mindset master, and it's because we have to realize that it doesn't matter what happens, you're going to get through it. It doesn't matter how bad something gets. It always gets better. There is there's a continuum. And I'll never forget, even when I was in college. And believe me, it wasn't like I've had a great life. I can't say
lucky.
otherwise.
Say that, yeah.
But it's not like everything that's happened in my life has been great.
Right.
But I was in college, and I've had a lot of hardships.
Sure.
I've had a lot of hard times. And I was in this religion class. And in this religion class, the teacher was talking about how pain and unhappiness and sadness is on a continuum with happiness and joy. So if you have felt a level 2,000 pain and unhappiness,
Right.
you're going to be able to feel the equivalent joy and happiness. You're going to get to the 2,000 there, and what that did was that gave me hope.
Right.
It gave me hope, and I think that's what we do need to talk more about. We need to talk about truths, and the truth being that fear is bad for you. And that saying, there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah, well.
and I'm going to say, listen, I like to think of myself as a healthy person. One of the things I loved about you when I first met you was obviously, who can't love Dr. Lee, right?
Oh, thank you.
Who can't love Doohi Lee? But when I went in to go and see you, I was actually going in to see him for my veins. So you might not realize this, but I haven't had any vein work done, but I'm always trying to be preventative.
Right.
And in that conversation, we started to talk about health. We started to talk about the diamond metrics. And you said, "Hey, listen, let's get your blood work done."
Yeah.
And it was during that process that when I got my blood work back and I found out that my vitamin D level was a 70. Listen, you know how excited I am to tell people that? I love telling people that.
That's sort of the hidden secret. It's kind of interesting. We're going to talk about that very soon, but that really is one of the keys to staying healthy overall,
right?
And as well as how it affects us in terms of fighting coronavirus.
Well, I think that when we talk about the emotional health aspect of it, we have to realize that happiness is a choice.
Yes.
You've got to remain positive.
Right.
You've got to associate
Glasses
yourself with
full.
great people.
Yeah,
to me, the formula to success is clarity plus focus plus the right actions plus the right people plus accountability. And the one component,
yes.
the one component that can impact all the other areas the quickest really is the right people.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to be depressed and in a bad mood when you're around happy people. And if you're not in that state, first you got to reach out. I mean, let us know. Let us know. We want to help you. We want people to realize that your overall attitude does dramatically impact your immune system.
I know.
You know, your emotional state can make you sick.
Oh, it does, and a lot of people suffer from this daily, and they don't know how to get out of it. I think part of it, you know, I don't want to digress too much on this because we have a couple more things to go, but I think part of the issue is this whole thing with social media and Facebook and things like that. There's almost the pressure to post happy things. You know what I mean? Even if you're down in the dumps, sad, and who knows what's going on in your life, there's almost this pressure to say, oh, I have to just make myself look good and happy and everything's going great all the time. And that's sort of the unfortunate, you know, veneer of happiness that I think a lot of people go through. And sometimes that can actually hide things. And sometimes people don't even, you know, admit to themselves that, you know, apart from what I'm posting on Facebook as happy-go-lucky person, that there's actually something darker that's going on that I'm afraid to share. And I think that's, you know, it's sort of a hidden thing that people don't talk about. And that's a really important thing that people need to understand, that, you know, there is help out there. There are hotlines, there are close friends, of course, the loved ones, your family members, your friends, et cetera, that you can turn to. And it's really important that in this type of pandemic and crisis that we're living through, that even if you're physically isolated by lockdowns, that you do not limit yourself emotionally and spiritually. There's still a phone, there's still texting, there's still people that you can talk to who are close to you that you need to rely on and stay healthy that way.
Right, and I know that we'll probably get to this topic more, but you know, one thing that I think of is, you know, I've got adult children, ages 20 to 24, and they were born before social media. But their kids, or even some of my nieces and nephews, they were born in this world.
Right.
And I wonder sometimes what is their the state of their emotional health going to be? Because
I worry about
I
that
mean, we
too.
understand that what you see on social media isn't real.
Right.
I mean, you know that there's two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I believe that we are living in a world right now where there's people that they're looking on social media, or they look at the media in general, they're like, this is how it is. No, it's not.
Well, and also there's the stress in social media, the constant battling of ideas. And you post something, there are like 20 people going against you or 20 people for you, and you're fielding the likes and dislikes and comments and whatnot, and that alone is a cause for stress too.
Exactly, and it truly is one of the reasons why we started our show.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, we started the show because we said we need more love.
We gotta have some sanity.
We need more love.
And health.
And good health.
Yes, exactly. That's the reason.
So
that's why we formed this.
Right. I love the conversation.
Yeah.
So
anyway, let's go to the next one. I think we're almost done. So a couple other things besides what we talked about. Daily, it's something so simple and basic, washing hands. I mean, I'm a doctor, so I'm washing my hands all day long, you know, before and after every patient, certainly, you know, procedures and everything. But most people, sometimes they forget, and we got hand sanitizers and whatnot. It's actually a poor substitute to really good washing hands, but if you got nothing else, at least use a hand sanitizer, but keep your hands clean, and that really, really is important. Just something that basic, foundational, and teach your kids how to wash their hands very carefully, and actually you'll stay much healthier. And we mentioned vitamin D, and actually I was very astounded when we did the lab that, you know, Jen's mentioned of her blood work, and her level was that high. I tell you, I've seen hundreds of patients coming in for hormones and other things that they want to get done, and I run vitamin D on all of them. And I've never seen somebody with 70 off the bat. It's just unbelievable.
Well, you know the reason is because of my vitamin D. I take a brain supplement.
Yes, exactly. That has vitamin D in it.
And the brain supplement that I take, to your point, I did my due diligence, I did my research, and it's got the vitamin D, it's got the B6, it's got the B12, it's got the selenium, it's got the magnesium.
All the important minerals, things like that.
But because it's important to me, and I take it seriously. And the other thing too is vitamin D is vitally important in having a strong immune system.
Exactly.
And I've read articles and I've seen videos to say how important it is to fight against corona.
Well, yeah, there was an article that just came out, I think last week or a week or two. And I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but the summation is they actually did a sort of a large randomized study that people with high levels, I mean, not ridiculously high, but optimized levels, which is generally above 60, between 60 to 100. I try to target about 80 for my patients, and myself included. And that really is sort of the sweet spot. You know, it's not too high, not too low. And it's amazing the low level of coronavirus coronavirus infection in those people with that optimized vitamin D3 level. Nobody thought about this.
Right.
And it is so cheap.
Yeah, but
it's so inexpensive to get those little vitamin D pills.
But listen, I can't think of the name of the standardized group that tells you what your vitamin D level should be.
Well, the numbers are all over the place.
But,
Depending on who you talk to.
Well,
so.
What I've always seen, when you look at your blood work and it tells you the optimal range.
Right.
There's been plenty of times I've gotten my blood work done and they've said the optimal range is between 20 and 30.
Well,
Dr. Lee, that's not enough.
No, that's not even close.
That's not enough.
Well, you have to realize that a lot of these RDA numbers that we see in vitamin
That's
bottles.
what it is, RDA.
RDA numbers, they were actually developed way back when, around World War II. And the reason those numbers came back was the idea, okay, we're in war. It's going to be hard to supply adequate nutrition for the population. So, okay, scientists, what is the absolute minimum of vitamins and things like that do we need to take and keep our population alive?
I know, but
that's where the RDA came from. So it really is the minimum number that you need to have in order to stay alive. So do you want to hit the bottom or do you want to go above that and hit the optimum? So that is the big deal. And a lot of the laboratory standards were derived from that to say, well, this is normal, that's not. Well, you have to really look at it from scientifically as well as the physiologically and what those numbers, how they numbers fit in terms of reality of us staying healthy.
And then one of the question I'm going to ask is, how come it hasn't been changed?
Well, this politics.
Right.
Science and politics.
Exactly.
Because, in terms of, how actually we separate out and, figure out how to prescribe the right, right doses for everybody.
Right.
So, anyway, I think we're kind of getting close to it, so let's finish it up real fast. And then hormone optimization, this goes into a more anti-aging regenerative medicine, but it's important as you get older to keep yourself healthy, and those kind of basic hormones are very, very important because as we get older, they get depleted, and there are many different programs, including the things that I run in my office, to help you optimize and maintain a healthy level of both male and female hormones. And vaccines, we talked about this before, it is designed to obviously impart long-term IgG immunity to help you stave off, continuing assault. But it's not perfect. Some people actually get sick and die after vaccines, and this happens all over the place. And myself, I stopped getting flu shots because every time I get a flu shot, I'll get sick for 10 days.
Right.
So, those kind of things happen as well. That doesn't mean I'm not necessarily against vaccines, but none of these things are perfect, and none of these are going to give us 100% quote-unquote immunity against certain diseases or whatever. Now, with respect to coronavirus, I know there's a lot of talk about vaccines and what's coming down and what's not, but there's no firm data on what kind of vaccines coming up, how long they'll work, and if it works, and how long it will be effective. That's all still up in the air.
Right.
Even though a lot of companies are racing to develop a vaccine, there's still so many unknown questions and all the other conspiracy stuff I don't want to get into, but that's still a concern for a lot of people. But in terms of that, it's still up in the air. And if a vaccine comes out, next week, I'm not sure where I'm going to stand on this, and I'll certainly do my research before, making my opinions about it. But a lot of things are up in the air. So I think we're going to spend more time on delving into much deeper on vaccines because I know it's a topic that a lot of people are concerned about for many reasons. I mean, not only for their health, but also for political reasons and other topics as well. So I think it's a very important topic to spend really more of a whole episode on this.
Oh yeah, we definitely will. And I just have to say, I love what it is that you're all about. I love what it is that we're doing.
Yes.
I love for the people.
This is a great combination show.
Well, the people that I speak to, this is the kind of information that they want.
Yeah.
And so we want to know what additional information that you would like to receive from Dr. Lee and from myself. And listen, we'll do our research. We will do our due diligence. Keep coming back. Yeah. We are here every other Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central. But, who knows? You might get more of us.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want more of us.
Yeah,
and let us also know the topics. We're going to be digging deeper into a lot of the topics that we discussed today, as well as things that are going to be coming up. Because, listen, until you see us next time, share your love.
And live healthy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.